everyone, and welcome to another What I Eat in a Week as a Vegan video. I know you want to see all of the recipes, so let's just get right into it. Alright, so let's start with Monday. For my breakfast on Monday, I wanted to have some coconut yogurt, and this is one of my favorite yogurt. It is vanilla flavored, it is so good. So I'm just pouring that into a bowl and then adding some granola. This is some really great granola, the Love Crunch. I really recommend it. It has some dark chocolate in there and also some coconut flakes. And then for a little extra protein, I'm just adding some hemp hearts. And of course, you can't forget to add some fruit, so I'm just topping my yogurt with some fresh raspberries. This breakfast was honestly so good, and the granola added just the right amount of crunch. For lunch, I just wanted something really simple and easy to make, so I just grabbed my go-to, which is these ramen noodles. This is like the ultimate lazy lunch. It's so easy to make, it takes like 5 minutes to make. So basically, I just boil the noodles, and when they're ready, I add them to a bowl and add some seasoning, and then give that a good stir. On that day, I was feeling a little extra fancy, so I just added some sesame seeds on top. And for dinner, I'm preparing a bunch of veggies to make some tofu skewers. To me, this is a perfect summer dish, and it's a great way to get a lot of vegetables into your diet. So I'm just cutting mushrooms, peppers, and also red onions. Then I'm taking a block of medium firm tofu and cutting it into cubes. And of course, I had to make a sauce to marinate everything. So here I'm just adding 1/4 cup of maple syrup, 1/4 cup of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar, 2 tablespoons of sesame oil, tablespoon of sriracha, a tablespoon of garlic powder, and salt and pepper. Then I'm just pouring the sauce into a pan and adding everything, my tofu, my vegetables, and giving that a nice stir to coat them very well. Then I covered the pan and let it marinate in the fridge for about 6 hours. These were so flavorful and so nutritious, and honestly perfect for a summer meal. On Tuesday morning for breakfast, I made a smoothie. I'm just making my go-to smoothie, which is a berry smoothie. I'm adding half a banana, some frozen berries, a scoop of vanilla protein powder, some water, a handful of greens for some extra vitamins, and some almond milk. I love having smoothies in the morning. They're packed with nutrients and they make me feel so energized, and to me this is a great start to any morning. For lunch, I just had the leftover veggie skewers from last night. I added some rice to a bowl as well as a handful of spinach, and then I topped the rice with the leftover tofu and veggies, and it was even better this time around. For dinner, I wanted to have some corn on the cob, and this is so easy to make. It basically takes like 5 minutes. You just need to boil some water and add them into the water for 5 minutes, and they're done. And to go with the corn, I made a tofu scramble, and this is really easy to make as well, and I have a recipe, so I'll just link it in the top right corner and also in the description down below. Then when the tofu was done, I just topped it with some sriracha, and that was my dinner on Tuesday. On Wednesday morning, I felt like having a bagel for breakfast. I toasted my bagel until it was nice and crispy, and then topped it with some vegan cream cheese. To make this more of a balanced breakfast, I also had some fresh raspberries and also a peach. And then for lunch, I felt like having a BLT sandwich. I bought this bacon tempeh that I wanted to try out, so I just cooked it in some olive oil, and let me tell you, it was actually pretty good. This was my first time eating tempeh, and in a sandwich, it was fantastic. To make the sandwich, I toasted 2 pieces of whole wheat bread. Then I'm adding some mayonnaise. This is my favorite mayo. It is the Hellman vegan mayo. Then I'm making my BLT by adding the tempeh bacon. Of course, you can't forget the slices of tomatoes. And I didn't have any lettuce, so I just added some spinach. I was so excited for dinner because we went out and got some takeout pad thai. And takeout pad thai has to be one of my favorite meals to get. I transferred that into a bowl and then added a nice squeeze of lime juice, and that was my dinner on Wednesday. It was so delicious. On Thursday for breakfast, I really wanted to have a grilled cheese. And I recently learned that most people don't eat grilled cheese for breakfast. So I would really like to know where you stand on this. Let me know in the comments. Are you a grilled cheese for breakfast person, or you like your grilled cheese for lunches? Let me know. So of course I'm using some vegan butter and also some vegan cheese, and I'm adding it to the pan until it is nice and golden and crispy. For lunch, I'm making some pasta, and the recipe that I'm following is from Bon Appetit, so I'm just gonna leave the recipe down below. It's actually really easy to follow. I really recommend that you try it. It is so good. So I just sauteed some onions and also garlic with some spices, and now I'm adding some crushed tomatoes and bringing that to a simmer. Then I'm adding 4 cups of water and also some chickpea pasta. I added 3.5 cups. The recipe called for chickpeas and pasta, but I thought I would just use some chickpea pasta instead. This meal is so simple and so delicious, it has become one of my go-to. Then for dinner we had sushis. We love a good sushi night. We have sushis every week. So here I'm just rinsing my sushi rice. I give it a good rinse until the water runs clear. I'm preparing about 2 cups of rice, which means I need about 2.5 cups of water. Then I bring that to a boil and let it simmer for about 20 minutes. In the meantime, I prepared my veggies. I like to add cucumbers, carrots, and spinach to my sushis. Then when the rice is done, I just go ahead and add some rice vinegar with seasoning. I add 1/3 cup, and this gives a really nice flavor to the sticky rice. And for protein, I'm sauteing some tofu on the pan in some olive oil. And when everything is ready, I just assemble my sushi. I'm just adding some rice to a sheet of seaweed and then adding my fillings, and then I just need to roll it. I'm using a bamboo mat to help me do that, and then I just cut it into smaller pieces, and here it is, my sushi dinner. It was so good. And just like that, it is already Friday. For breakfast, I wanted to have some oatmeal, so here I'm just boiling some water. Next, I'm adding 1/2 cup of oatmeal to a bowl, followed by some hot water to let it cook. Then I'm adding some almond milk because I like my oatmeal to be really nice and creamy. And I can't forget the maple syrup because, as we know by now, I am 90% maple syrup, a true Canadian. Then I'm adding my toppings. I had some frozen berries, so I just added that, and also sprinkled a spoonful of hem hearts. Then for lunch, I just had some leftover sushis from last night. And the sauce that you see on top is just a spicy mayo made with sriracha and vegan mayonnaise. It is really good. And that was my lunch on Friday. It was just as good as the night before. Apparently Friday was a leftover day because I also had some chickpea pasta left in the fridge. I actually really like eating leftovers. So that's what I had for my dinner on Friday. Saturday for breakfast, I'm just having another smoothie, and this is the same recipe that I showed you earlier in the video. It is my go-to berry smoothie. It is very nourishing and refreshing, and I love to have it as my breakfast. Then for lunch, I made my favorite salad, which is my go-to pasta salad. I added 3 cups of cooked pasta, and I'm also adding some vegetables, spinach, carrots, cucumbers, green peppers, and red onions. For the vinaigrette, I'm just adding 3 tablespoons of olive oil, some lemon juice to taste, and then for spices, I'm adding a really good amount of basil. I love dried basil. You can add as much or as little as you want. And then of course some salt and pepper. And for protein, I'm adding 3 tablespoons of hem hearts. Obviously, this is a huge salad, so I'm just having 1 bowl and I'm storing the rest in the fridge. This was so simple to make, and it is one of my go-to during the summer months. Then for dinner, we had some pizza. I'm just adding some marinara sauce to a store-bought crust, and then adding some vegetables. I added pretty much everything that I had in my fridge. Some spinach, mushrooms, peppers, and red onions. I served it with a side of broccoli, and it was so good. Another day, another smoothie. On Sunday, I decided to have a green smoothie, so I'm just adding a green apple to a cup and also 1 banana, some ice to make it nice and cold, and also some flax seeds. Then I'm just adding some water and some spinach and also a little bit of almond milk, and in the blender it goes. I wanted to try a new smoothie recipe other than my go-to berry smoothie, and this one was actually pretty good. For lunch, I had some leftover pasta salad from the day before, and I swear the salad is much better the next day. Then for dinner, I made that same recipe from Bon Appetit again. It is such a great recipe, I really recommend you try it. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you want to see more of what I eat in a week, you can click the video on the screen right now. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future upload. I upload a new video every Monday. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!